UK when you're ready.
Yeah, very pleased. A lot to be pleased about, which us managers love. It's, you can't always open these teams up every time you attack, so you have to look on the counter, even sometimes at home. But pleased, as I said, for what our managers look at, the work that we've done in the week, a lot of good feedback from the players and what they felt they needed to remind us of some of the good stuff, and they've delivered today. The shape, the competitive edge, of a team, and I thought that was on show. And the hard yards, because that's important against these teams, and I thought them things combined, and moments of quality on the break, and then when you need the big moments, they come your way. So Mats makes a big save, at a very important time.
They obviously not had many chances, and had to bring on the heavy artillery late in the game, which shows you've done the job properly.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I suggest, these are the top sides, and they're hard. We consider ourselves a side that's improving, but they're top sides, and you have to look at the strength in their bench as well. So, like I say, it's a different kind of commitment. The commitment to win is sometimes the case when you're playing, with all due respect, a team who's not at the top of the table. But then what about the commitment to make sure you don't get beat? And I thought that was on show today. The perseverance with the shape and the details in the shape, the individual elements. I thought everyone played their part in that. Set pieces, we know the noise about set pieces. I thought we did well on them. So overall, a lot of the hard yards of the game, I thought we did very well in. And it continues the work we're trying to do. 4 points out of 2 Premier League games. It's a change of what was happening before that, so I'm pleased with that.
Mikel, within handball at the end of the
Well, look, I mean, I just think the game's got to be careful for me, because that's a nudge in the back from our own player, granted. It hits his arm, and you're like, where does this live? We've got to be careful with all this. For that, they can't give handball. I don't think you give penalties for things like that. I don't like half of the penalties that are given for handball nowadays, but I understand that's the way the game's going, the rules are going. I mean, I thought we had a really good shot at a penalty. Callum's gone in. Yeah, he's in mid-flow. He's going into the box to decide the moment of truth. Is a tight call. I've seen it back. So, but I wouldn't want to see. Well, let's put it this way: if that was on them, I'd be buzzing to get that one. I'd be thinking hallelujah, because I don't think that's a penalty.
Is this an example? Sometimes a draw can give a team as much confidence as a win.
I know what you're suggesting. I mean, we come out of the West Ham game, and then, a tough game at Wrexham for different reasons, but the reaction was brilliant from the players. I've told them, don't listen to the noise, listen to what we're doing. Listen to what we're doing as a staff with you, and the commitment for our group. And I like that. I like the fact that they've gone out and delivered a really strong performance against the top side. And make no mistake, they are, well, you all know, I don't have to remind you, they're a top side. I mean, they're still... the change that they've done really is 3 or 4 years ago, everyone was saying they have to score beautiful goals. As we know, they'll now score hard goals, ugly goals, set-piece goals. I think that makes them more of a threat, personally. So I think I'm pleased with that. To come out of that with a clean sheet is pleasing for the defensive side of our performance.
So you're only the second club this season that has stopped Arsenal from scoring after Liverpool. That must particularly please you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think we were far wrong in other games we've played, but, the details are so important. Mats makes a big save, and that can change the outlook, But a lot of I think apart from things flashing, don't get me wrong, they had things flashing across the box, so they did have sort of chances, but not them ones that they're not killer chances, not open chances. So I'm pleased we kept them down to them sort of chances. Not where they've played through us and opened us up too many times. There's a couple of moments, but nothing like that. And that shows a defensively very strong performance. And then, like I say, sometimes you have to play at home as if you're away on the counter. And I think against these top sides, sometimes you have to do that. We did it very well against Man City. Referees' decisions went against us, and we've done it very well today and got a good point and a well-deserved point, I thought, overall.
Sean, you spoke about this 2 days ago, but some of your biggest performances this season have come against Liverpool, Manchester City, and now again today. Is the next challenge to kind of do that more consistently against all of them?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken since, well, because you cover us a lot, and I've spoken since I got here about consistency. How do you find that balance of, it's just a different mindset, isn't it, going into these games? The fans are different, the feeling's different. Winning the fight you're supposed to win is not always the easiest one to win, and sometimes it's that, but we have got to keep pushing ourselves. If it's a game that people consider we should win, then we've got to grow with that. That's part of the expectation of a football club. And this club went supersonic last season, and it changed the whole feel, the whole expectation, the storyline. And it started really, really poorly, obviously. Now we've got to recorrect that, and it takes time. It's not. I said when I got there, there's no magic dust. There's no just flicking a switch, and it's all brilliant all of a sudden, and all the players all know everything about the Premier League. it's a gradual process. And I think I know there's clear signs. People can question it, but I know because I work with the players every day. And I think there's a real good feel about the group and how they're growing into the Premier League this season after a really, really tough start.
Thank
You mentioned the strength of Arsenal's bench. I mean, they changed 5 of their front 6 during the course of that game. I mean, does that just sort of show on your indicator?
Well, that's the mark, isn't it? I mean, they've been piecing that side together for a few years now and put a lot of money into it. And this club's not shy in putting money into the team, but you know, they're signing a lot of players who are what you describe as bona fide Premier League players. We've got a lot of younger players who haven't been in the Premier League. I've been trying to speak openly about that. It's not they're not good players. They are, and they are talented players. It's a different thing being in the Premier League and learning to the nuts and bolts, as I call it, the Premier League. You've got to do all the ugly stuff. You've got to, you get caught out if you're not in the right position. You get caught out if you're not doing the change over play. The transition in the Premier League is way quicker than European divisions, in my opinion. I haven't worked in them, but I watch them. Transition is so important, and some of these players, it just takes them time to learn about the Premier League, and it will take time. But patience is not a thing that we're blessed with in football nowadays. Football management or fans and coaches, players even. It's everything wanted now, and that's a hard job that we all face as managers. So I'm trying to deliver it now, but I know deep down some of these players are going to take a bit of time, and they're working very hard at it. And you certainly saw that today. No, I can't do anything about other people's results, but I can try and affect our results. That's the reality of it. I've always stuck by that. I can't worry about other people's business. It's about worrying about our business and making sure we're going well and what we're performing like.
How much of a difference did
Yeah, I thought Elliot was outstanding today. Callum as well, and Dominguez for different reasons. Off the ball, the work ethic, and his pressing lines. Very clever footballer. And Sangare just gives you that, that feel. He's got a nice sort of balance to it, and Elliot, as you know, goes wandering with his pace and his commitment to press, and Sangare just holds the sort of position. So it's a nice mix in there. We knew it before we went away, and I thought they both delivered a good performance again today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Hey guys, if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll come to you. I think we're all good. Who wants to kick off? Charlie from Sun.
Mikel, you thought you should have a penalty?
Well, first, assess the game. Obviously, we came here to win the game, and we haven't managed to do that for different reasons. First one, credit to them because they are really well organized and they are really good at breaking momentum when you have certain dominance in the game. But the reality is we created 4 massive chances as well with Martinelli an open goal, Declan Rice a tap-in, Mikel and the header of Bukayo. And on top of that, obviously, a very clear penalty in the box that is not being given. So without conceding a single shot on target, again, the fact that we haven't won the game with that, disappointing. And on top of that, I think we can do things better, especially in certain areas attacking.
Because of Manchester City losing today, was it sort of a lost opportunity or the fact that you've sort of gained a point? How are you looking at today?
Yeah, every week is an opportunity, obviously, and we want to win every game. And if we would have done that, we would have been in a different position. But we made a step, a smaller one than the one that we wanted, but it's a step.
Art, Athletic.
You mentioned there were things you wanted to see improve in attack. I was just wondering what they were. Were they similar to the Liverpool game where, as well, your team didn't score?
No, I think it was different. Obviously, the style is completely different, and what we had to do with the ball, especially after regaining it in chaotic situation, which is what they propose, we lack certain composure and the next 2-3 passes to be in the right areas to be able to dominate the game and not have these chaotic moments as often as we did. And then, yeah, credit to them as well, because in every game that I've seen against them as well, is a team that is very difficult to penetrate against. So when you have those moments, you have to make them, because then you start to face a different game.
Alex, BBC.
Hi, Mikel. You changed the wingers team from midweek. Is it a case of the games catching up with the squad a little bit, or what's the thinking there?
Yes, a lot. Obviously, they are, and Bukayo had a lot of minutes, and as well he had an ego before the game. So we need to manage our players, and we have some fantastic players that can provide different things. And we did try from the beginning. We tried after halftime as well in the next, taking more risk and bringing even more players in those attacking options. And we tried in every way, and it wasn't enough, unfortunately.
One in here.
Hi, Mikel. Victor Gyökeres put in arguably his best performance of the season in midweek against Chelsea. Were you disappointed with his showing today at all?
No, obviously we want the players to be decisive at this level, because we need them to score goals and create moments when we can unlock the door and get an opening which changes the game. Normally we haven't managed to take that, and that's everybody's responsibility.
Isan, Daily Mail.
I'm Mikel. With Arteta, was there a temptation to bring him on earlier just because of the magic he has and potentially blocking this game?
Yeah, but we had other ways as well, and in the spaces that we could produce and the manner that they defend as well, it is very difficult to find those spaces. The spaces are in the box, and creating sets and chaotic moments like we did, that we should have scored a goal.
Tom, time's
Hi, Mikel. City now 3 or 4 games, I think, without a win. Do you feel like you could be further ahead?
If we win every game, yes. But unfortunately, we haven't won today, and the opportunity that we wanted to take, we haven't managed to do that.
Okay, guys. Oh, one in one.
Just on the penalty, the match centre said that it hit his shoulder first and then his arm was in that position.
They are right. He hits the shoulder, and then he takes the ball with the hand. So yeah, that's the explanation is not right, but the rest, it's okay. The order is okay, but the timing and the intention of the player is very clear. If not, I wouldn't be sitting here saying it's, in my opinion, it's a very clear penalty.
Okay, guys.
Yeah,
Good night,
thank you.
everyone.
Cheers.